The impact of data on society is stronger than ever. Algorithms determine every aspect of our lives, from the eligibility to an insurance, to a credit, to a job. They basically tell you who to date, what information to read in the morning when you wake up, and also which road to follow to go to your destination. But who controls those codes? How algorithms do operate and really work? My name is Adrien Basdevant. I'm a tech lawyer based in Paris. And in this short video, we're going to tackle three things. First, how data are impacting society, what benefits can digital revolution bring, and what challenges are raised by this evolution. So the impact of data on society can basically be summed up by a simple number. In 2018, there was 33 zettabytes of information, which means 10 power 21 bytes of information. And if you compiled all of that data on a disk, you can go from the Earth to the Moon around 2/3 of the distance, right? Now in 2025, there's going to be 175 zettabytes of information. So you can understand that the number is doubling like every 2 years. So getting back to the metaphor in between Earth to Moon, you can go back 6 times in a row. So you understand that big data means the exponential growth of data. Those data, basically, what they do, they feed algorithm. An algorithm is pretty simple. It's a set of rules to solve a problem. So there are different kinds of algorithms. We kind of talk of AI for artificial intelligence, and the most commonly used algorithm today can be around machine learning. It means that a lot of data, input data from agricultural, health, weather, Internet of Things, even your toothbrush, is actually feeding this algorithm to solve a specific issue, and the algorithm keeps on learning from the data. What is different today than before? Algorithms do not only learn from what a human, a developer, a coder can instruct the algorithm to do. The algorithm kind of operates by itself, and it can be used in various fields. In medicine, to have personalized recommendation to develop new drugs, or for a personalized relationship in between the doctor and the patient. In climate change, you can forecast some of the evolution of the weather of any kind of natural disaster. Also in health, you can fight against fraud. It can be a tool to detect abnormal behavior. And it raises also many challenges. And this is why basically the corporations and the nation are in a huge race to get to that new level of technological developments. As Russian president puts it, Vladimir Putin, he says that whoever is going to win the race for AI will basically have a lead over every development in every sectors in international trade. So we're going to now talk about the ethical and societal implication that depends and varies on the level of delegation that you give to the algorithm or to the tools. Government, public and private actors expand the use of automated decision making, but do they implement safeguards to protect civil liberties and fundamental rights? The issue raised by new technologies relates to the loss of human control and sometimes also to the delegation of critical decisions to algorithm without a public debate around it. And the use of AI in really sensitive fields can be really impactful because it can be used in various sectors such as banking, the way you have access to credit, loan. It can be used in education, the way you can have access, to school, universities. It can be accessed in the Justice Department to evaluate the chance of recidivism, or maybe in the police sector to know where to have arrest, who to arrest. So we really need to understand the code and the criteria used by the algorithm and how they operate to make sure there is not new form of bias and discrimination. So questions go from who should regulate online speech? Should it be nation states or platforms? We saw that recent example with the digital destitution of former US President Donald Trump from Twitter after the Capitol events. How to fight against fake news and election manipulation. The Cambridge Analytica was a huge scandal on the way voters and citizens are impacted by social networks. Not to mention cybercriminality, with the increase of hacks and cyber attacks on hospitals, universities, and also industrial sites. Biometric systems, facial recognition, drone surveillance, many civil liberties issues are constantly reminding us that there is a trade-off in between liberty and security, and many public debates around those. Last but not least, big tech also now hold quite of a no-oligopolistic position, and you know that data has often been compared to oil, and it is because the first competition piece of legislation were voted to dismantle Standard Oil Company at the end of the 19th century, and today the same kind of questions are tackled as far as big tech companies from US or from Asia are concerned. The competition environment is really important because it is linked to debates other asymmetry of information in between companies and citizens, about the way we can create alternatives, and if new entrant can, get into the market. So the EU is pretty in advance on those topics as far as regulation is concerned, but we have to make sure that regulation goes hand in hand with the possibility to innovate on the one hand and the possibility to protect the right of citizens on the other hand. So by way of conclusion, we can say that to have a meaningful digital transformation, we need to demystify the technologies that are part of it so that we can create a new form of governance with civil society, researchers, policymakers, entrepreneurs, all stakeholders having a general public conversation around the use of the technology, why we're going to use such technologies in comparison to other. Should it be something that is desirable or not? It doesn't mean a technology exists that you necessarily need to use it. And we have to assess all of those criteria to make sure we go in the right direction, to make sure there is no anyone lagging behind, and it is a really inclusive and a societal beneficial transformation.